Whoops, running on empty? Enjoy a 6 cents per litre fuel discount at your local Caltex with Pumped every day. Ah, feels good, eh? Get it at any participating Caltex.
This isn't about printing. It's about better results with over 90 offices right across the country in residential, commercial and rural.
Kina tangata whenua e nā manihiri ko tai mai nei hi tēnei rā. Nau mai piki mai, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome to Owen Delany Park in beautiful Taupo, Aotearoa, New Zealand for a semi-final girls match for the 2023 New Zealand Ultimate Secondary Schools Championship. We've got a game in this semi-final. We have Epsom Girls Grammar playing Whakatane High. It'll be a very interesting game. Epsom Girls have quite a prestigious team list. We've got Tessa the Roof Swinson, mostly one of the top receivers for women at any level in New Zealand. Beside me, I have Anna Crosby, national player for New Zealand and tournament director. Kia ora, Anna.
Kia ora. Nice to be here. It's glad to see that it's finally warmed up in Taupo. Should give us a bit better quality of ultimate now that the wind's not so much of a factor.
You're right. Yesterday was howling, wasn't it? Maybe 30 plus knot winds. Lots of tukus, lots of turnovers. But today the sun's come out a little bit cooler this morning. But this game, I think the grass has dried off. There was a lot of dew this morning, and of course with the wet disc, handling becomes a bit more of a challenge. But it'll be an exciting game here this morning.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited to see these Whakatane girls play. It's their first time at the tournament, and they've kind of really shown that they've kind of can match with the players who have been here a while, making it all the way to the semis on their first go. So, yeah, really excited to bring the kind of athleticism and see what they can play.
I'm amazed at how much energy they've got. This will be the 5th game. Tournament started yesterday. Most teams played 4 games yesterday, and it does take its toll, particularly if you've got a slightly smaller squad. But both teams are rearing to go this morning. Both teams are heading to their goal line for the kume, the pull, to set this off. Whakatane have had their last instructions before they head out. Epsom is still getting some guidance. On the Epsom team, we've got a Lara Kolpe. Crosscodes has played recently for the under-20 FIFA Women's World Cup team. And is crossing over to ultimate. There's a lot of similar skills in terms of agility, in terms of speed. Although this is in terms of handling, football is or soccer is with the feet, and ultimate with the hand. But still, that speed and getting differentiation from your defensive player.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of those skills kind of transfer over. We see quite a few people coming from football, lacrosse, those kind of field sports. And there you go, straight away with the block. So putting those agility skills to use straight away. We got Georgia Brown with the disc. She's finding a nice under to Tessa Swinson. I think that'll be a receiver they look to quite a lot this game. Looks like a foul there. One of the Whakatane girls just coming through as Tessa went to throw. So the disc will come back to Tessa and we'll restart play. Nice swing pass there to Clark, who finds Kolpe with an excellent grab in the end zone there, but unfortunately just out of bounds. For those that are new to watching Ultimate, generally on the line is out, so as we saw in that replay there, unfortunately Lara's foot just on the line as she caught that disc. Players are allowed to catch the disc within bounds, and if their momentum carries them out, that's not a worry, but they just have to be in bounds when they catch the disc. And there we go, making sure of it that time. Kolpe with the score, Clark with the assist.
Hannah Clark would be their key handler, their key Kaiko Kiri for their team, wouldn't she?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely one of their more experienced players. I think we'll see her picking up the disc quite a lot during this game.
There's a nice Mamua. Both teams back to their goal line. Epsom taking the opportunity just for a little bit more guidance. Separating now. Hands go up to signal. Both teams are ready for the kume. Off it goes. I'm thinking yesterday those pulls, those kumes, some of them were barely reaching halfway, particularly into the wind.
So we've got Sexton starting off play with the disc. Now Clark to pick up the disc for the Epsom team to start their offense. Finding a nice under from number 3, Bella Innes, who looks to shoot down the field, but unfortunately just running out of room. Got Sexton from Whakatane with the disc again, launching it long. Unfortunately getting to the Epsom player before the Whakatane player. But it's really exciting to see how Whakatane are looking to use that deep space. It was something the teams didn't get to do a lot yesterday with the wind, so it's nice that they're being able to kind of incorporate that part of their game into the play this day. Both teams at the moment just overthrowing their players a little bit. Might be some of those kind of pre-match nerves just waiting to settle down as they kind of find their groove in the team. Sexton again sending it long. It's
nice chase.
Good to see Whakatane's intentions early in this game. Good grab from Carter there to secure that long throw and dishes it off to Sexton, who shoots for the end zone. And again, unfortunately, just running out of room was Cassie Bennett.
Nice chase, though.
Yeah, Cassie Bennett's one of their players who's really been active a lot in their games so far. So it'll be good to see what she can do in this one. Clark with the disc swings to Swinson. He finds Clark again up the line. Looking long for Cook, who brings it in. Oh, and a great D there from number 2, Carter from Whakatane.
A lot of teams try and make the most for the transition. When there is a tuku, when there is a turnover, they'll try and pick up the disc and they want to find that pass really quickly. And I suppose it's a balance between that and finding the most secure option. But meanwhile, trying to do it before your defensive player actually establishes position.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot that can be gained from a fast break after a turn before your defense has had a chance to get into their formations and make things difficult. But yeah, it is just finding that balance of making sure that you're not rushing your throws and taking the options that you want to take.
Because if they can have those quick passes before defensive gets on them, you can see teams make a lot of progress up the field.
Got Clark with the disc, finding Swinson free on the far side. It's nice to see teams using the full width of the field instead. Always helps a bit when you can go side to side, puts the downfield defence a bit out of position, opens up some more shots. So it's nice to see teams comfortable with making those. Oh, great grab there from Swinson, just towing it on that far sideline. Disc is with Innes, looking for the end zone, and they find it. Score from Cook, so a few turns in that point, but good to see both teams grinding it right through to the end.
And Epsom came Muamā Te Rua up by 2 over Whakatane. Both teams putting subs on.
Yeah, especially after a long point like that, you'd expect quite a few substitutions made. Ultimate really is one of those games where when you're on the field, there's not a lot of rest you can gain, so it's important to make sure you keep those subs rolling. It's nice to see both of these teams having a few subs. We've seen a few games already with pretty short rosters, which must be quite tough for them, so nice to see these teams.
Well, particularly this for a lot of them, this will be game 5 yesterday and today. And as the tournament wears on, sometimes those shorter rosters, they'll be feeling it, both in speed and endurance. Teams like Epsom with those key players like Hannah Clark, Georgia Lewis, Tessa Swinson and Georgia Brown, those combinations that they can see because they've played together a lot, they almost intuitively know how each player plays, the cuts, where they can expect, and that must be a huge advantage.
Yeah, for sure. Those 4 players in particular have just come off the back of playing for the Open club season, so they've had their adults nationals last weekend and then straight into school nationals this weekend, so yeah, they're definitely players who have played a lot together. Epsom's got a good balance of quite experienced players and then a few kind of younger players as well on the team who they're really trying to get that tournament experience into and give them a bit of guidance from the older players.
Actually, head off to their dedication for that, because I know some of the other teams that we've seen this weekend, some of the players actually didn't play in nationals last weekend because they were saving themselves for this competition. That's the sort of physical toll it can take on a player, that 2 big competitions like this weekend after each other, and so some of the secondary school players were saying, no, I'm focused on the secondary school and maybe next year for national champs.
Yeah, for sure, and it's really good to see that kind of development pathway for them. As we just see a replay of that call there.
That's what I love about Ultimate. You won't see a ref, you won't see an umpire. If there's a dispute, 2 players will discuss it. They'll go through the rules. They'll say, this is what I think happened. This is what we're seeing at the moment. The other player may give a version. This is what I believed happened, and they'll try and resolve it. If they don't resolve it, then it remains contested. It normally goes back to the previous pass.
Yes, correct. So anything that can't be agreed on, which sometimes happens when players just have different perspectives of the play, the disc will go back to the last uncontested play, so that's usually back to the thrower, and then play will restart from there.
And that's why I see next time we go to the full field, you'll see that the players are remaining in the position that they are, just in case that happens. So it looks like it is contested, so heading back to that previous play. And this happens even at the national level. World champs. The US, the Canadians, Japan, it's hard to compete with countries. Over 5 million ultimate players in the US alone. But even at the international level, no referees or umpires. They may have a couple of game advisors who are just there to advise on what the rules are, but it's actually up to the players to make that decision.
Yeah, and it's been quite good this weekend. We've had a lot of our kind of more experienced coaches stepping in and helping out with that role, just kind of facilitating those discussions and helping the players to make those calls themselves.
Quick tuku over there. Turnover for Whakatane. Another one down here. Epsom regained possession.
Lewis picking up the disc, swinging to Brown, who's looking long for Colby in the end zone, who just can't quite reel that in, but there was nice flow from the Epsom girls team. We've got Sexton from Whakatane with the disc, finding a nice little inside shot, just sneaking it under the Epsom girls defender's arm. Anderson with the disc. Got Lewis to pick up from Epsom girls. No mark on her as of yet.
Oh, nice Mahmuda.
Nice. Looks like number 4 from Epsom there, Colby, just snuck away to the end zone. Nice throw from Georgia Brown there, weighting it perfectly so it doesn't go too far and put her out the back. But
Nice, perfect two-handed catch. One underneath, one on top. Crocodile mouth.
safest way to do it. We see Josh Howe on the line here. He's the coach for the Epsom girls team. He's been working with them for a couple of years now, so it's nice to see that kind of progression pathway that he's been able to create in that team and that kind of consistency of performance.
There's quite a difference with the teams, is that sometimes you get cohorts moving through a school. You may have like some of the teams here that did very well last year, that they may have had a lot of year 13s who have now left last year at the end of last year's school, so they've got a new cohort of year 10s coming into the program, so it's almost changes from a high performance team, a group of people who have played together for so long, to almost a development team. So each year to year, there's no guarantee of the same results, but there's development of players and development of the game.
Yeah, it makes it one of the interesting things about school nats is it's hard to know kind of what teams you're going to come up against each year, and yeah, always keeps things interesting.
Epsom girls came mua mā te kōtoru, lead by 3 over Whakatane here in the girls semi-final. Well, here's a big forehand, mā mua nui.
That's Clark finding Cook in the end zone. Clark has a lovely forehand, so I think we'll be seeing her use that quite a bit this game.
And for those people who this maybe they've only just joined in for this game, there's a lot of difficulty in terms of the skills of passing. I mean, a lot of us watching this who haven't played a lot of Ultimate or seen a lot of Ultimate will think, well, I grew up throwing a frisbee around and it was normally a Mahmudi, just a backhand, and it was straightforward. It was normally on a beach, on a park, and it was a nice fine day with no wind. But the added things, the other variables that players have got here, they've got a defensive player on them who's mostly trying to force the player away from throwing an easy backhand onto a forehand. They're thrown to someone who's got a defensive player on them. Sometimes there's wind, there's rain, and they've got a defensive player counting with a stall count, haven't they?
Yes, so players have 10 seconds with the disc, which will be counted by their mark. And as you can see here, those Epsom players are working really hard to stand on that far side of the Whakatane players, really limit them from being able to throw on that backhand side, forcing them to use that slightly trickier forehand side. Oh, great collection there from number 2, Carter, just collecting the rebound off another player. And unfortunately, just a little bit long for the receiver to chase up to.
So it can bounce off hands, it can bounce off players, as long as it doesn't touch the ground, as long as the team who threw it catch it in the end, possession is retained and it's not a tuku or turnover.
Yes, we just see a great put there from Swinson, finding Cook just outside the end zone, threading it through to Innes for the score. As we see the replay here, Swinson really using that momentum to go straight into that backhand hook. And finding a great receiver in Innes. Cook, sorry.
I've seen Whakatane play yesterday. I think that 5th game is tolling. Everyone's walking a little bit slower this morning. And it's a fast-moving game. Trying to keep up with the offense that Epsom girls are using at the moment. Takes a fair bit of effort.
Yeah, and I think that is an interesting thing about playing a fast-paced team like Epsom girls. You can kind of get sucked into that pace of the game and start trying to play, kind of match it on your offense, which might not necessarily be the playing style that you're most kind of comfortable with or have practiced. So it'll be interesting to see whether the Whakatane girls can kind of find their groove and play their game. Starting off with a big, long backhand. Unfortunately, not quite finding a Whakatane player as Kolpi gets the D on that one. Got Brown with the disc. And on the turn, we see Sexton again launching that backhand.
Takes quite a skill and balance to throw that sort of floating pass. It's going to get to your receiver. Oh, here we go.
Oh, great find there from the Whakatane girls. Not afraid to just put that disc into space, let their players run on and grab it. As we saw Lawler there with the score. We've got a couple of Lawlers on the team, so that was Kaylee Lawler with the score on that one.
And Whakatane on the scoreboard. Kotahi point. But still, Epsom still Kemua ma te kofa. Up by 4. Nicely timed pass.
Yeah, these are the kind of plays that we can now see on these calmer conditions. It's a bit easier for players to put that disc into space and have their players run on and grab it without the wind taking it away. So it'll be exciting to see a bit more expansive play today. And there's that Clark-Swinson connection again. Lovely forehand, straight to the end zone for Swinson to collect.
I wonder if the call was for that, because Swinson went straight through, cut right through the field. Look at her go head out to the left there. She's trying to create that difference between the other team and her defensive player. Hannah sees that opportunity. She's looking for it, and a nice momo, a nice forehand. Epsom girls came more Terima, leading by 5.
Great ball already.
A deep kume.
See Sexton with the disc from Whakatane. That just coming off the hands of number 9, Ashley Lawler. Nice wide swing from Swinson to Clark there, really making use of the full width of the field. Be nice to see them swing across the field now again, really make use of it. And well, that works too. Just find the nearest corner and thread it through. Bella Innes there with the score, racking up points in this game.
Nice catch. Both teams heading back to the goal line. Both respective coaches just giving them a little bit more guidance. Possibly what's working well, what we're going to try this time, what adjustments need to be made. Certainly both teams attentive. Having coaching staff with the calibre of this, because quite often in school sports, and that's what the New Zealand Sports Collective is trying to retain and get more kids into sport, having the calibre of coaches like this just really helps kids lift their game, as opposed to a lot of sports where parents step up because no one else will. And even if you're in that position, if you're on the New Zealand Ultimate website, there's ultimate.org.nz, there's some, under resources, there's some great coaching resources. So whether you're a parent just trying to help your child, or a parent who's taking over a team, maybe at primary school or secondary school, or even at national level, there's some great coaching resources at whatever the level you are.
Into the side stack, guys. Into the side stack. Into the side.
See Lewis with the disc. Unfortunately, just shooting it a little bit too fast for Kolpi, her receiver, to run onto. So we see Whakatane now with a chance on offense. Sexton with the disc, as we've seen so many times on these turns. Finding Carter with a little inside backhand. The coach for Epsom Girls just calling for a side stack here, so you'll notice all the downfield players for Epsom Girls are right on that sideline, trying to create lots of space in the middle of the field for them to attack. As Lewis launches the forehand, but great defense there from number 12 from Whakatane, Eva Sexton. Got Georgia Brown picking the disc up on the turn. Finding Lara Kolpi in the downfield. Nice swings there from Epsom, making full use of the width of the field.
So Lucy Carter there trying her best, but I think she was ended up trying to cover two players. Covering the player in the centre.
Great score there from Murray, just really making use of that space in that far corner, sneaking in behind the defence.
Whoops, running on empty? Enjoy a 6 cents per litre fuel discount at your local Caltex with Pumped every day. Ah, feels good, eh? Get it at any participating Caltex.
This isn't an ad about four-wheel drives. It's about knowing the place, as well as the locals.
You found the place. That's a good start. Built by my great-grandfather.
Built for the win, built for the win. Run the game, they know I was born to win.
I'd just like to thank New Zealand Carbon Farming for their support of the college. Without the support, we wouldn't be able to offer everything we do to the students. So any funding we get is vital for what we can provide. Our students are in an area where money is tight and opportunities for them is minimal. So creating more opportunities at school for our students to participate in sport is what we're wanting to do. We want to encourage as much participation in sport from as many people as possible. So giving them opportunities and facilities at the college here is going to increase that for them. The funding will be used to make an outdoor volleyball court and to equip some of our sports equipment inside our gym. We focus a lot around the whole Tarima, around the Hora, and sport is going to be a major part of that.
Kia ora koutou and welcome back to Owen Delany Park in the 2023 New Zealand Ultimate Secondary School Championships, and we're here with the first semi-final in the girls division, and we have Epsom girls playing Whakatane High. Both teams are taking more instruction at half time, but it's a brilliant game so far. But we've got two, I think, a little bit tired teams coming in playing their fifth game, and this is just the beginning of the second day. Whakatane heading towards their respective goal line. Epsom girls heading off to theirs.
Looks like Whakatane is going to come out on defence out of the half.
Epsom girls lead 8-1. Fitu. Tatai. And still all smiles.
Looking at this Epsom line, we've got Clark and Swinson on there again, so I'm expecting a connection there during this point.
Arm goes up. Whakatane are ready for the kume, the pull. Just waiting. Arm goes up correspondingly on Epsom. We're good to go. Here comes the kume. Doesn't matter where it hits the ground, the roll still counts. That's why you'll find Epsom pick it up as soon as they can, because they may be able to get a couple of passes in before Whakatane get up on defence. The hustle from Whakatane is quite impressive. They're putting it for it's a bit of a powerhouse Epsom team that they've got at the moment, but Whakatane are still putting them under a certain degree of pressure.
Yeah, I think their defence has really been a standout aspect of their game so far.
And saying that, when a team like Epsom gets so close to the line, they've got some strong cutters in the back, and if you've got and some kaikokiri, some handlers like that who can pick them out as soon as they get separation from their defensive player.
Yeah, as we saw the score there from Petra Craddock, just finding that little hole that opened up in the middle of the end zone and making sure that she was there first.
So Epsom girls, Ke Mua Mā Te Whitu, lead by 8 over Whakatane here in the second half. Now we've got a soft cap of 50 minutes. We're at just over 32 minutes at the moment. If we we're playing to 15, but if we don't reach 15 after 50 minutes, we finish playing the point that's playing when the hooter sounds. We add 1 point to that, and that is the new target for either team to make.
Whakatane with the disc now. Be interesting to see how they play their offense this half, whether they're still looking for those deep shots or whether they've made some of those adjustments. Clark with the disc. Back to Swinson. Finding Cook. And then Innes in the end zone. That Cook-Innes connection's been quite prevalent in this game so far. We've seen quite a few goals scored with that combination.
Epsom go to Taupo. Whakatane tahi. People watching Kāinga at home may think that certainly before we saw Whakatane going long, and was think almost you may think they're throwing the disc away, but there is some validity to the strategy of if your stall count's getting high, because of course it's a tuku, it's a turnover if the defensive player calls 10. To actually throw it as far upfield as you can get. It may not go to a receiver, but it does push the other team back, and hopefully they can get a tuku, a turnover from them with some good defence.
Yeah, for sure. I think especially when that stall count is high, you'd much rather the disc turn over much further down the field rather than where you are. So,
Center, center, center.
You have some coach calling it to centre in the middle. You've got more options with the discers in the middle. You may be able to pass both to the left and the right.
yes, we see the wide swing there from Colby to Brown. And then Colby with the point
nice.
in the end zone.
That is very smooth. They're a very well-drilled team. But still well done, Whakatane. Whakatane, their first year in this competition with the national champs.
Yeah, first year.
And here they are in a semi-final.
Yeah, it's great to see from them, and you can kind of see the impact of their defence is having as well. In an ideal world, Epsom would quite like to just go down the line and be free the whole way, but Whakatane really putting a bit of pressure on those open side throws and making them swing across the field.
There must also possibly be an element with Epsom girls, even just coming from Tamaki Makoto, with the number of other teams that they can meet and compete against, and that opportunity to play.
Yeah, for sure. I think they had the Auckland School Champs a couple of weeks ago, so that's always a good opportunity for them just before Nationals to get a good hit out against the other teams in Auckland. So both Epsom girls teams and the Takapuna team that are down here would have all been in that competition. Got a bit of a chance to practice some of their plays. As we see Georgia Brown with the pull. Eva Sexton with the disc.
All right, let's set up. The Hemis twirl, the Hemis twirl, the Hemis twirl.
Go to Heaney. Work hard to Heaney. You can do it. Nice to Heaney. All
Nice transition from Whakatane. Straight onto it before the defence is up. Nice.
Yeah, really making use of those fast breaks before the defence has a chance to catch up. That one, unfortunately, just getting snagged by Georgia Brown. Epsom girls appear to be playing a pearl structure now, so they have two handlers back, and then two of their downfielders really deep, creating lots of space in the middle of the field for one of their players in isolation. It's a really nice way of kind of getting that movement, especially when you've got throwers like Georgia Brown and Georgia Lewis, who can create a lot of space with their throwing.
It must give receivers a lot of confidence that when you've got a handler, they know that if good defence, turnover there, possession back to Whakatane. But if as a receiver, you know that if you can create a distance from your defensive player, you've got a handler who can most probably hit you with a good pass.
Yeah, for sure. As we just see Colby with the score in the end zone there. Epsom girls really making use of that fast turn there, getting that disc in the air before the defence has had a chance to set. Good to see the Epsom girls too out on the sideline supporting their top team.
I think they've resourced those beanbags under the Bailey's gazebo. A big thank you to Bailey's for their sponsorship of this event that's enabled us to bring these live streamed games so that any whānau and friends of the players can follow this at home. If they haven't got the ability or the time or the expense of taking time off and coming to Taupo to see it live, they can at least see these games online. And for other players and other teams who just want to watch some Ultimate, maybe learn from it a little bit, watch the strategies of these top teams, it's a good opportunity and a good resource for them. Nice view, pa, kaka, nice swing pass there.
Swinson finds Cook. Oh, great defense there from Whakatane. Reading that play and just coming through and getting that block.
It's their captain, Eva Sexton.
Finding Cassie Bennett on the far sideline. Looks like coming out of that half, Whakatane are looking for some smaller passes. Maybe moving away from the deep game a bit and trying to find some higher percentage options in the midfield.
So that's Epsom lined up there with a vertical stack, 2 handlers on the left, and here we have the 3 cutters. Actually, it's unusual, all 3 cutters moved at the same time.
Yeah, hard to tell whether that's intentional or sometimes that's just the way it plays out, but good to see that the Epsom cutters are giving each other space. As we see Bella Innes with the score there.
Epsom go to Tacoma Toru.
Yeah.
2 points away from the 15 to finish the game. So I think we'll be hitting the 15 because it's still 10 minutes until we hit the soft cap. Interesting, even though that both teams are lined up at the goal line at the moment, both coaches are talking, guiding just the players on the side, maybe going through what the team's focus is for when they get on next. Every opportunity to teach.
Hands are up and we'll see Georgia Brown with the pull. See Bennett with the disc. Georgia Brown to pick up on the turn. Finds Georgia Lewis with a nice up the line cut. He's straight looking for the end zone. But unfortunately just a little bit too far.
Georgia, it's okay. Don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, Georgia.
Georgia Lewis bringing the disc back into play.
Yeah, Georgia.
Makes no mistake that time. Perfectly balanced.
Oh, no.
Ooh. Looks like that initial throw was just short of the end zone.
I think she may have foot on the line, so play continues. Yes, well caught on camera there. The foot must be entirely over the goal line for it to count. Doesn't matter if a player runs out and they catch it, but as long as when they stop, the disc stops spinning and they have one contact on the ground.
Looks like a little bit of confusion there.
With the play.
I think Georgia Brown was just caught a little bit short of the end zone and in the confusion thought it might have been a turn.
So put it down for the other to play on.
Seeing a few of these discs just go a bit long out of players' reach. Might be a bit of an effect of the tired legs on day 2.
So if a player is heading out and they catch the disc, as long as the part of the body, normally a dragging foot, touches totally inside the playing area, that's fine. If the second foot comes out over the line and they keep running out, that's fine. They can just bring the disc back to where it went out.
Yeah, so quite a notable difference between ultimate and netball is there's no kind of stepping rule. Once you've caught the disc, you're allowed to use your momentum to slow down, which is quite good on the knees compared to netball. But yeah, so players are able to, as long as their first point of contact is inbounds, they're allowed to have the momentum carry them out. They can just come back in to reinitiate play.
Look at that. Nice up, and that's Lara Kolpe.
Great use of space.
Cross code, yep.
Georgia Brown just seeing that space on the far side of the field, putting that disc out for Lara Kolpe to go get.
You can imagine the fitness, someone like Lara having played for the under-20 FIFA women's team, in terms of the crossover, in terms of speed, acceleration, fitness, even agility. I wouldn't imagine she'd have much fitness work to do to bring her up to championship standard.
Epsom girls are now 1 point away from taking the game. Whakatane will need to hold this point to continue the game.
Hands go up, both teams are ready. Epsom with Ukume. Whakatane through on offense. That's Eva Sexton.
Great defense there from the Epsom girls, number 3, Bella Innes. Craddock with the disc.
Good defense. Good hustle defense from Whakatane. Good pressure.
You can see they're working really hard to stop any of those backhand throws, putting lots of pressure on anything that tries to go that way. In response to that, Epsom girls looking like they're trying to move quickly to try and get those throws away before the defense sets. Long throw there from Eva Sexton, but unfortunately just fading out of bounds. Craddock to pick up. Finds a nice open swing.
And defensively, quite often players will allow that swing. They'll allow the opposition to throw that swing because they're not getting any closer to the goal line. And of course, the more passes, the more fuse throws a team has to make, the more chance that there'll be a tuku, a turnover.
Great defense there from the Whakatane team. Kaylee Lawler looks like it.
Slightly sore hand. It does. At a frisbee, at a disc, and you smack that. It's 165 grams or similar, coming at you at some speed. Even worse if your hands are cold.
Yeah, there were definitely a few sore hands yesterday morning. Trying to catch those cold discs, especially with the wind.
But she was still all smiles. Happy to get that, force that tuku.
Great movement there from the Epsom girls.
Nice defense.
Not good enough to beat Eva Sexton, reading that play beautifully and just coming through for that D.
Pass.
And that will be the game. So Murray there from Epsom scoring the final point to take them to 15.
And Whakatane will be able to take away a lot from this.
Yeah, I definitely think what they've shown is a really, really promising start for a team quite new to Ultimate, especially in the defense space. And then offense is something that comes with time. Learning to throw a disc is not a natural skill, so I think they'll only go from strength to strength from here on out. You can see already they've got a good understanding of the game, good understanding of space and how to use it, so yeah, really excited to see what they can do going forward.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to Epsom girls. That's it from us. We'll looking forward to 12-10. We'll be covering 3rd versus 4th in the Open division. Thank you very much, Anna. I'll let you head back to your tournament director duties. Thanks for volunteering. Ka kite ano.